All right, so this week in class we talked about stereotyping as well as privilege, so I just wanted to share my takeaways from the readings and podcasts that we listened to. So the first one is that the first way to fixing the issue of stereotyping is acknowledging it and identifying that there is a problem and there is something going on. The second takeaway I got is that many times stereotyping will appear in places where you least expect it. So in one of the readings, it talked about how, you don't have to deal with stereotyping and things in places like when you go and buy music and stuff because you are represented because of your race. And that is talking about like racial stereotyping. So then the third takeaway I got is that you don't have to be a racial minority in order to experience stereotyping. And that includes sexuality, gender, class, and ethnicity, and so many more on that spectrum that are just so important. But all of those have experienced their own type of stereotyping. Another takeaway I got is that if you would like to change this negative stereotyping, it is better to stand up for it rather than sit back and expect for change to happen, because change isn't going to happen. Somebody needs to step forward and acknowledge that there is a problem, as I talked about in my first point, and so that they can put change in place. And the fifth takeaway I got is that stereotypes are always harmful. I'm going to be honest, I've never really heard of a positive stereotype, especially not to minorities. So there you go. And then the way that I could use it in my future teaching is being able to address these stereotypes in the classroom. And that includes whether you see it students to students or even like your own personal stereotypes as a teacher. And so addressing that kind of thing so that you can take steps in order to fix it. Another use that you could use in future teaching is that obviously, like, I want to be an English teacher. And so this includes diversifying my lessons, which for me would be including literature featuring writers as well as main characters and even like secondary characters, but more importantly, the writers and main characters of different races, gender, sexuality, and ethnicity for students to relate to, as well as asking students when they are comfortable to share their own experiences with their education and their background and identity and culture, because that is so incredibly important. And the last use I could use, another use I could use is that speak up for the students who feel like they are not being heard. A lot of times students believe that they are just kids, so they can't do anything about any problem that's going on in school. So your best thing, your privilege as a teacher that you can use is you can speak up for them and help empower students when they want to put change in place. And so a way that I could be stereotyped in the future is that a lot of kids would think that I'm an ignorant, rich Miami student, which in reality I'm trying really hard to break down my own prejudices towards other people, as well as I have had my own struggles against those stereotypes and things like that. I am not exactly that stereotype, but I still have a way to go when it comes to breaking down prejudices against others, as well as I expect everybody else is. And then the question that I have for everybody is, how have you reacted towards stereotypes towards either yourself or others close to you? And would you change that reaction now that you have learned a little bit more about it?